A voice thundered through the halls of eternity. I recognized that voice. It was the voice of your guardian angel, trembling, crying out, "Wait, the chosen one has not yet seen the sign." And at that moment, all of heaven paused. I, Michael, stood before the throne and said, "Then I will go." And I was sent, through fire, through time, through every delay that tried to silence this word, to find you before it was too late. This is why this message found you now, not yesterday, not next week, now. Because the scroll of your destiny was almost sealed this morning. The ink was hot, the wax ready to close, and the angels were moments from turning the page of your story. But mercy interrupted. Grace delayed the closure. Divine love whispered, "Wait, the heart I formed is still awakening." You must understand, beloved one, that heaven operates on timing, not coincidence. There are windows in the spirit that open only once in a generation, and you are standing in one right now. That flutter in your chest as you read, that warmth moving through your hands, that is not imagination. That is alignment. You are touching the moment heaven decided to reopen your destiny. I saw the battle for your name. I saw the hands that tried to blot it out, the forces that whispered, "They've failed too much," doubted too often, waited too long. I saw how the darkness tried to convince you that the story was over, that the final word had been spoken, but what you didn't see was the trembling hand of God refusing to seal what he had not finished. He said, "No, not this one, not yet. There is still breath left, still fire in their purpose." Your life, as you know it, almost folded into silence. The scroll that carries your purpose, your assignment, your divine promises, was about to close with unanswered prayers and unfinished dreams still written upon it. But when the heavens looked at your name, the ink began to glow again. The same angels that prepared to seal it began to weep because they saw what I saw, a flicker of hope inside you, too faint for human eyes but bright enough for heaven. That's why I am speaking now. I have been watching you for months, standing at the edge of your atmosphere, guarding your home through nights when shadows whispered and your faith nearly broke. I've seen the mornings when you woke up with a heaviness you couldn't explain, when the air in your home felt strange, when you stared into nothing and yet felt watched. That was not loneliness, that was resistance. The unseen war around your destiny was reaching its climax. The moment your scroll approached heaven's seal, every opposing spirit began to tremble, trying one last time to distract you, to numb you, to make you believe that this was just another day. But this day is not ordinary. This morning was a divine court session, and your name was spoken aloud in heaven. You were defended. You were remembered. Your guardian angel pleaded, "They are not done." And I, Michael, drew my sword and declared, "Then I will descend." Do you know what it means when I am dispatched? It means the matter has reached its final verdict. When Michael moves, no demon can remain, no curse can linger, no chain can continue to bind. I do not come for conversation. I come for reversal. And that is why your spirit feels the trembling right now. It is because something sacred is being rewritten as you breathe. The energy you feel, the pull in your chest, the sudden chills. It is the scroll reopening. The ink of your purpose is wet again. You have cried so long for change, but you thought your prayers dissolved in silence. They didn't. They became sound in another realm, echoing through celestial halls until the Father said, "Enough delay." Every tear you shed was weighed, every heartbreak recorded. Heaven doesn't forget. The silence you mistook for rejection was strategy. I was being positioned. Angels were being trained for your defense. And this morning, as the scroll nearly sealed, that strategy reached fulfillment. I must tell you the truth. If you had not stayed through that last storm, your scroll would have closed. If you had surrendered your hope completely, heaven would have respected your free will, but something in you, some stubborn ember of belief, refused to die. And that ember became the very evidence heaven needed to hold the scroll open. You didn't know your resilience was a legal document in the spirit. You didn't know your endurance was the signature that kept your name alive in celestial fire. The delay you've been living in was not punishment. It was protection. The things that left were not lost. They were removed. The people who walked away didn't abandon you. They were extracted from your timeline because they carried the energy of interruption. You kept asking, why does everything I love disappear? The answer is simple. God was protecting the part of your destiny that could not survive contamination. The scroll almost closed because you began to doubt your own worthiness. You started to believe that miracles were for other people, not for you. And yet, heaven saw differently. Even when you whispered, "Maybe my time has passed," the Father whispered back, "Their time is preserved." And that whisper became the command that stopped the sealing fire. You must understand, heaven operates on remembrance. Every word you've spoken in faith, even those you forgot, still exist. They are stored in the archives of light. There are angels who carry jars of your words, waiting for the moment to pour them back into your atmosphere. That moment begins tonight. Every good thing you thought was lost will begin to echo back toward you, because when a scroll reopens, it doesn't just restore the future, it rewrites the past. I can see it now. The golden threads around your name glowing again. The ink re-wetting itself as the angels of remembrance gather around your story. I am telling you this because you need to know how close it was. You need to feel the weight of what was spared. You need to understand that heaven didn't simply give you mercy, it gave you another timeline. You are standing in the beginning of what I call the rewritten hour. There will be signs. Some of them have already begun. You will notice patterns repeating but ending differently this time. You will find lost things returning but without pain attached. You will remember moments that once broke you and feel peace where there used to be sorrow. These are the first signals that your scroll has reopened. Don't be afraid if you begin to feel an invisible stirring in your room tonight. It is not darkness. It is divine editing. Heaven's hand is moving through your atmosphere, aligning what was scattered. You might hear small sounds, creaks, winds, whispers. That is not your mind playing tricks. That is creation responding to the reopening. I must warn you, though, when heaven reopens something sacred, opposition increases for a short while. Those who once took advantage of your silence may suddenly return. They will appear friendly, apologetic, repentant, but discernment must be your sword now. Not everyone deserves access to your rewritten chapter. Some people are only drawn to the light because they miss the control they once had over your darkness. Guard your energy. Protect your peace. When the scroll reopens, it glows, and glow attracts both moths and angels. If you are wondering why you feel weary even in peace, it is because your spirit has been in negotiation for months. You've been visited in dreams, though you don't remember them. Your spirit has been traveling into the courts of heaven, arguing for your continuation. Every night you slept, the war continued, and you kept winning without realizing it. That's why you sometimes woke up heavy. That was the residue of battle. But this morning, when the scroll nearly sealed, you finally won. And now the rest begins. The scroll that almost closed carries the proof that heaven never forgets. Every seed you planted, every kind act unnoticed, every prayer whispered through tears, they've all been written as celestial currency, and now heaven intends to pay you back with interest. What you thought you lost 10 years ago will begin to reappear in multiplied form. A door that closed unjustly will swing open again, but this time you will walk through as the owner, not the applicant. Listen carefully now. There will be a sound in your environment soon, perhaps a chime, a distant bell, or a whisper that says your name. When it happens, don't be startled. That is the sound of the scroll sealing again, but this time in your favor. It will not close against you. It will close around you as protection. When that happens, say softly, "I accept the reopening of my destiny." Those words will finalize the spiritual transaction that heaven began when it delayed the sealing this morning. You are not just surviving, you are stepping into divine authorship. What was almost erased is now being rewritten in gold. What was almost lost is being returned, multiplied. What was meant to end is being resurrected. You are not at the end of your story. You are at the restart of your scroll. I, Michael, have been sent to witness your rebirth. Heaven has waited lifetimes for this alignment. The scroll that almost closed this morning will now remain open until every promise written within it has been fulfilled. You will begin to feel peace that doesn't make sense. That peace is heaven's signature confirming the reopening. You may cry without reason tonight. Let it happen. Tears are how the soul prints new ink onto the scroll. Each tear writes a new line in your story of restoration. The scroll that almost closed has become the scroll of resurrection. You were one breath away from missing your miracle, but now every breath you take is writing it back into existence. Do not doubt this. Do not dismiss this. You are standing inside a rewritten destiny. Stay awake tonight in your spirit. Stay expectant. And remember this. The fire that once threatened to close your story is now the light that will illuminate it. Type 777 if your spirit feels the truth of this. Heaven will see that number as your agreement to keep the scroll open. Your name is written again, in flame, in grace, in eternal ink, and heaven is watching it glow. Archangel Michael says, "Before the dawn broke today, before the first bird sang your name into the morning air, a council was held in the invisible realms. The light that surrounds the throne of the Most High flickered and whispered as voices of flame gathered in reverent silence. Your name, yes, your name, was spoken not as a word, but as a sound that carries eternity. I heard it echo through the pillars of time, vibrating across dimensions. And the moment it was spoken, I knew. The heavens were calling a meeting for you. I saw the one who protects you, your guardian angel, step forward trembling, his hands clasped around a fragment of your tears. He said, "Father, they almost gave up. They almost surrendered their hope, but I saw them cry instead of curse. I saw them whisper prayers in the dark when their strength was gone. They have not seen the sign yet. Please delay the closure. Give me time to awaken them." Then the Lord turned his gaze, radiant as 10,000 suns, and said, "Then let Michael go." And here I am, I stand now at the edge of your atmosphere, my wings stretched across your walls, my sword burning in the unseen. I have come to tell you that heaven heard the conversation you thought no one noticed. The sigh you gave when you said, "I can't do this anymore," trumpet that summoned me. The tears that fell onto your pillow wrote a language angels could read. Your pain was not a prayer for despair. It was an alarm for rescue. Do you understand? Every ache, every restless night, every strange whisper in your spirit. It was not random. Heaven has been trying to wake you every time your light flickered, every time a song repeated in your dreams, every time your chest tightened when you thought of the future. It was your angel trying to speak your name in ways the world could not drown out. I have been near you, closer than breath, in moments when silence felt unbearable. You thought it was loneliness, but it was visitation. The shift you felt at 3 a.m., the sudden chills, the warmth that spread across your shoulders. It was not your imagination. It was the divine drawing near, whispering, "Stay awake. The sign is coming." You have been watched over with trembling precision. There were nights when darkness requested permission to touch your peace, but heaven denied it. You never knew how many unseen battles were fought for one more sunrise in your favor. I saw the weapons that were formed, the words that were spoken against you, the envy that traveled through unseen corridors, and I cut them all down before they reached your door. That is why you're still standing. That is why the enemy failed. You were surrounded by light so bright that even demons had to bow before it. Your guardian angel, gentle, steadfast, ancient, has whispered your name at the gates of light for weeks. They're tired, he said, but they haven't given up. Let me show them the sign. And tonight, I will make sure you see it. In the spiritual realm, names are not simply labels, they are coordinates of destiny. Yours glows with a hue that angels recognize from afar. Every time you doubt yourself, that light dims slightly. Every time you speak faith, it flares like sunrise. When you cried last week and whispered, "God, where are you?" I saw your name flicker, almost dim, but it never went out. And then the Lord said, "Speak their name aloud." And I did. When an archangel speaks your name, the atmosphere responds. Winds shift, lights tremble, memories awaken. Even now, something in you is stirring, an awareness that you are not alone, that something vast and holy is watching you breathe. That stirring is the echo of heaven repeating what I said this morning. Their story is not finished. I want you to remember this truth. You are the only one on earth who carries your exact sound. When you speak, the spiritual realm vibrates uniquely because your voice was designed as a key. There are locked doors that only respond to your tone. You have been silent too long. You have let the noise of fear, the words of critics, and the memories of failure muffle your sacred frequency. But tonight, I am restoring your sound. The angel who spoke your name before the throne did not just intercede for you, he reopened your frequency in heaven's archive. Every time you speak faith now, the sound will echo louder. Every declaration will carry weight. Heaven is listening for your agreement because what you say in this season will shape not only your destiny, but the destinies tied to yours. They cannot stand the anointing on your name, the light that radiates from your perseverance. But listen to me, none of them can destroy you. They can only distract you. That is why their greatest weapon is delay. Delay disguised as comfort. Delay hidden in relationships that keep you emotionally busy but spiritually asleep. Delay wrapped in false loyalty.